Today I'd like to introduce our plugin created by Python, and it allows the users to control the muscle movements by creating different controllers. So it can accelerate the process of rigging and animating. So first of all, I'd like to talk about the base command of this Python module. So this is the core module, and it provides fundamental functions like creating groups, locators, and binding joints, supporting all other modules. And the drag to install module is a user-friendly function, and it allows the user to drag the Python, and within one click, the plugin can be added to Maya. And the get UI data module retrieves user inputs from the interface, such as muscle parameters and driving attributes. And the muscle connection module manages different connections and dynamic behaviors like stretching and squeezing in the muscle system. And the muscle function module is the core module, and it is also the largest. So it drives the muscle system creation from surface generation to controller cleanup and the connections between different rigged surface, and it will distribute different weight onto the surface of the FBX model. And the muscle UI module drives an intuitive user interface for creating, connecting, and managing muscle system. And the set stretch module handles dynamic adjustment for stretching and squeezing behavior. Okay, without further ado, I will install this plugin into Maya, and I will open it into the Windows Explorer. Okay, and go to the Maya Windows and drag this plugin, and you can see this UI interface is added onto the screen. So our plugin is successfully installed, and I can just use a random name and to test whether the plugin is working normally. So I click create muscle, okay, and we can sort that this yellow controller and red controller, and within the red controller it is the bones, and we can F to focus, and this name is ASD skin 03 joints, and these different joints can be added into the surface of the model, and we can also adjust the surface of muscle by moving the yellow controllers. It's like if our model is a little bit weird and it has not flat surface, we can adjust the yellow controllers onto the surface, and the joint within the red controller can be set to the proper surface and the proper location. And if we move the red axis, and you can see that the surface of the muscle is stretched, and we drag out, it is squeezed, and we drag out, it is stretched, and we can add a model to test the function of the plugin, and I will delete everything. And for demonstration, I will just download a model from XAML, and I will download this to use our plugins to modify the weight and add some controller and joint onto the mesh. So we just click drag it into Autodesk Maya and change it to X-ray mode. Wait a second, and we can see the joint and the skeleton tree of that. And we can see that at the character's upper arm and lower arm, there only exists one bone, so there are not joints to control the surface. So I will use the plugin to generate some joint onto the surface of our mesh to help us to keyframe the muscle movement animation. So I will get to our plugin, and we can define the muscles names like muscle underscore 01, and we can shift click to open the tree, and we can select the joint, and its name is Mixamori left arm. So I will just copy the name and put it into the box. And we can also by click the joint and click load to automatically add the name into the input box. And by default, the muscle's width is 2, and the muscle's height is 10, and the count of that is 6. So I will just set every settings by default and generate some joint onto the surface. And the driver selection is that by default, the plugin will only generate controllers that will influence the transformation of the joint. But by click the rotation and the scale, we can also control the rotation and the scale of the joint. And after that, if we scale and rotate the joint, the mesh will also be modified. So I will click the triple and click create muscle. And if we change it to X-ray, and we can see that the joints are automatically generated, and we can modify the position by move the position of the yellow controller and onto the muscle surface. And you can see after that, okay, the red controller which contains the joint is also placed onto the right position. And because it is only for demonstration, so I will just quickly and briefly place this yellow controller onto the surface. Okay, so I will change the position of that. So wait a second, and wait a second, because there are several joints and several controllers. By change the position of the yellow controller, we can place the joint onto the mesh surface, and at the end we can also click it. Okay, so we have already placed the joint onto the mesh surface, and we can click connect muscle, and you can see that the joint is already linked to the system. And if we change the position of the red axis, you can see that the position of the joint have been modified, and we can use this joint to add it into the skeleton tree and paint skin weight onto that to control the surface of our mesh. So I will just select every single joint. Okay, so I will just F2 focus, select this joint. You can just shift select every joint and shift select the weighted and bind skin the mesh. And after that, we can go to the skin and edit influence and add influence. And we can just left every settings by default and then hit add, and to add every joint into our skeleton tree. And to test that, we can go to the pen skin weight tool, and we can see that the 6 joints have already added into the skeleton tree, and we can change the our mesh into the perspective mode instead of the X-ray mode, and we can click that and shift to pen skin weight tool and put our mouse onto that and hold right click and to select influence, And okay, you can see that by default, there already exists some default influence, which is the weight value that I added into the Maya Python plugin. And we can just check every single of the joint to see that, okay, every joint have some skin weights. And we can just switch back to the X-ray mode. Okay, and if we use the red axis to replace the origin position, and you can see that the surface of our muscle have already be driven, and we can also click the joint and change this position to control the surface of muscle. So it's very realistic because by originally there only exists one joint, but after that we add 6 joints onto that to control the surface, and you can also use the red or yellow controller to control the movement of that. And if you are not satisfied with the firstly modified position, you can change the position. You can just customize the position to satisfy you, and after that you can set stretch. And if you set stretch, the plugin will use the modified position. And after that, you can also, the position of the joints have already been changed. So you can use this joint to keyframe your animation, and you can also modify the skin weight, because by default it is usually not very precise, and you can just switch back to the original view. So and select the bind mesh, go to pen skin weight, and select influence, and you can select the surface and add some skin weight onto that. By demonstration, if the skin weight is too much, you can lower down. So I will hit replace and customize our opacity. I will change it to a relatively low value, and by change that, you can lower down the skin weight onto our mesh surface, so the joint will not drive the vertex of the mesh so much. So you can see that after change that, if I just move this position, you can see the movement is a little bit lower scaled. And so that is all for our Maya muscle movement plugin. Thank you.